This is the story of a young woman named Emily. She lived in a small town, away from the hustle and bustle of big cities. She was a pretty ordinary girl. She worked in the local store and lived with her cat. But one day her life changed forever. She began to notice strange things happening in her home. She heard rustling and grinding that hadn't happened before. She thought it was just her cat, but she had a strange feeling that someone else was there. She began looking for an explanation, but found nothing. One evening when Emily came home after work, she heard someone whispering. She thought it might be her neighbors spending time in their backyard, but when she looked out the window, no one was there. Fear began to overtake Emily. She felt that someone was watching her, and it was more than her imagination. She began locking all the windows and doors, even the ones that had always been open before. The next few days were filled with anxiety and worry for Emily. She continued to hear whispers and rustles, and felt that her home had become an unfriendly place. The cat, who had once been her best friend, began to behave strangely. She began to experience incomprehensible tragedies and would not leave Emily for a moment. One night, as Emily lay in her bed, she heard rustling in her room. She opened her eyes and saw a dark silhouette standing in the corner. She shuddered with fear and began to scream, but the silhouette did not move or disappear. Emily tried to get out of her room, but the door was blocked. She began to panic and scream, but no one came to help. She spent the night in her room, sitting on her bed, waiting for morning to escape from this house. The next day, when Emily left for work, she told no one about what had happened in her house. She thought no one would believe her and that she would lose her mind. But when she got home, she found that someone had broken into her house and turned everything upside down. All the drawers and closets had been opened and the doors had been broken down. She realized that whoever had been following her was actually an evil spirit or maniac. Emily decided that she must leave this house and never return. She gathered her things and ran into the street, where she saw a car coming straight at her. She was unable to avoid the accident and died on the spot. Since that day, no one has been able to explain what happened to Emily. Some think it was just an accident, while others think she was killed by the same evil spirit that had been watching her in her home. Her house became desolate and abandoned, and many people avoid it even now because of what happened to Emily.